Yeah, seems pretty big indeed. Okay. Okay, so let's go. Boom. And then boom. Boom. Oh my god, we have infinite. We have infinite. We basically have infinite. It's kind of crazy. Wait, that's so cool. We actually have infinite. Yeah, I mean, infinite on the walls. If you're on the ground. Oh, yeah, even on the ground, you can do infinite almost. Xilonen is good with everyone. Xilonen is good with everyone. She can work in almost basically any team except Dendro team. Except with Dendro DPS or a Nemo DPS. But any team where you can boost Electro, Cryo, Hydro, Pyro damage, or even Geo, she can work. There's no defense requirement, particularly because the only thing defense does is give her a little bit more damage and more healing. So get as much defense as you can, but there's no like specific requirement. It's just like if you feel like you're lacking healing, just get more defense, and you could also go healing bonus if you feel like you're lacking healing, but otherwise there's no defense requirement unless you go for a signature weapon. Then you want 3.2 or maybe even a bit less because she gets more defense. She gets more defense from her passive, so you don't even need 3.2k, but if you get 3.2k, you're basically chill. And then for weapons that are good for her, Freedom Sword is fine. Freedom Sword is good if you use a DPS that uses normal charge attack or plunge attack, basically, and scales with attack. Freedom Sword can be a very good option, actually, if you play with, like, Yoimiya, Chlorand, I don't know who else, like, but characters like that. Like a Yato. I didn't test a Yato, but we can test a Yato after. Hutao can work as well, yeah. Freedom Sword is good for this. Favonius is basically the baseline. Like, it gives a lot of energy and can be a battery for the team, so that's good. And otherwise, the craftable for Natlan is great. That's basically all the weapons. Like, if you really don't have any option, Natlan craftable is great. If you have Cinnabar Spindle, it's also a lot of defense, so it is okay. It is nice. It is a good option as well. So 4-star, Fav, Cinnabar, craftable, and then other than that, it doesn't really matter. And then Freedom Sword 5-star is pretty good. Signature is the best. And Chiori weapon can be okay, but for support, it's not that great. For support, it's not that great, so... And for artifact, there's only one set to go for. There's nothing else, really. Only scroll. Only scroll. Nothing else is really useful for her. If you want more healing, you can go more defense. If you feel like you have enough healing, it doesn't really matter what you go for, so... Yeah. You can go defense, healing bonus, or you can go defense, crit, or defense, geo crit. If you're not running her signature and you don't need 3.2k. Okay, so basically, how does she work? Skill, the skill is the thing that reduces the res of the enemy, okay? So let's say here I have Pyro, and Hydro, so I will reduce Pyro and Hydro res of the enemy, plus she always have Geo, so you always reduce Geo basically. If you have two characters, two elements with different other than Geo in your team. Look, when I use my skill, you see the samples here: Geo, Pyro, Hydro. Okay, if I use my normal attacks, boom, and now I got the full buff of Pyro and Hydro on the enemy. The rest is reduced, and then I deal more damage basically. So like when you use your skill, you see the sample here, like it's active right there. I got the full buff of the three elements, and now it unactivated. And if I do two normal attacks again, boom, it reactivates. So you use your skill, you hit the enemy, and then it just reduces the enemy resistance for 15 seconds. It's really that simple. It's just that simple. You just do this. You just do this, and then you get a full buff. And then if you give her the set, since she's gonna create like a crystallized reaction from doing her normal attacks, you will get 40% damage buff for Geo plus plus the other reaction that you triggered. So like if you play with Navia, you'll get geo damage buff plus pyro or hydro damage. If you created like a crystallize from hydro or pyro. And other than that, that's pretty much all her kit. She gets a bit of defense on her passive. She gets a bit of energy back here and there for like the Night Soul energy. And she gets some like normal plunge attack buff for herself. If you want to have fun and make her like a DPS or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Skill, 2 normal attack, big damage scope. That's the explanation. Skill, 2 normal attack, big damage. Woohoo! GG. How can you see if the debuff is active? After you use your skill and 2 normal attack, you can see under me, there's this thing here. It tells you that the buff is active. And when it disappears, the buff is inactive. It lasts for 15 seconds, so... Boom, it's gone. Stop running! Yeah, it's like literally this. This distance here is the range. So it's, I mean, you should stay close to the enemy anyway, right? So even if you have shit stats, just give her the 4-piece and it's great. Constellation. C1 is nice for exploration. I'm gonna activate it, I think. C1 is nice for the exploration. Like it gives you. Wait, where's the? This one here. Basically makes it so your energy lasts longer. So the longer the better, you know? The longer the better. Oh, it lasts very long. Yeah, it lasts pretty long, even when sprinting. Damn, that's pretty cool. And then if you don't sprint, you can travel the whole universe. It still lasts longer even outside of Nalan. So yeah, it's a little bit more, it's a little bit better for exploration. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. It's not really an insane constellation, but it's nice for exploration. C2 is where it becomes interesting. C2 is kind of huge, kind of insane. Basically, you always have the Geo Res Shred, okay? So like when you have this, you always have the Geo Res Shred, basically. So it's kind of broken. Whatever happens, you always have the Geo Res Shred. After that, wait, you always have the Geo Damage bonus as well, basically. After that, depending on what samples you have, you will gain a buff. The characters from the same element will gain a buff. So Pyro characters will gain 45% attack, Hydro characters 45% HP, Cryo characters 60% crit damage, and then Electro character gains energy back and restore and decrease the burst cooldown by 6 seconds. So let's say I activate, let's say I do this. Like here, if I activate the Hydro sample, like if I have the buff here, they will gain 45% HP. So pretty insane. Pretty insane. And it's kind of insane. Electro is kind of insane for Sino, yeah. Kind of good for Sino, Raiden, stuff like that. Yai as well can benefit from this a lot, actually. Dude, 25 energy is insane. 25 energy is crazy. Like, look at Yai, for example. 25 energy is like almost like 25% over burst, like 30%, almost 30% of a burst. Kind of insane. And then for Raiden, I mean, Raiden means you always have your burst. Sino means you always have your burst, basically. Wait, Sino's burst is like, yeah, it's like 30% of Sino's burst as well. Like, it's crazy. Oh wait, C3 gives you even more Res Shred. Wait, what's the scaling? 45%. Wow. 45%. Oy, oy, oy. That is crazy. Okay. So, after you use your skill, The rest of your team deals 65% of Shilonen's defense as extra damage when they deal normal charge and plunge. Up to 6 times. Seconds. But that's like 1,000,000 damage though. That's like 1,000,000 damage. Yeah, verdict on Shilonen, she's broken, chat. Must pull no if you have Farina Kazuha, I would say in general, but she's broken.